So that comes out. I'm already off script, so the chief is probably getting nervous. It's okay. I see big shiny things, and I talk to you out running for it. But what I will tell you, I've been in the seat for almost a month now, and what that makes me for you is dangerous. Right? Because I am questioning just about everything that we're doing. Why are we doing it? Should we continue to do it that way? And how do we do it better? Right? What makes us more lethal, more ready for now and the future fight? Right? So that's where I'm going to go. Now I do have to put a disclaimer on some things so that at least I don't get in trouble with I got a lot of bosses. So the higher you go, the more bosses you get, right? So, but the big boss is the chief. Right? So the chief is going to come and talk to this audience, and a lot of things he's going to talk about is going to be in reference to the year of the defender. We're catching on. So he's going to talk about that. So I'm going to try to stay away from that in the prepared remarks that I'm going to provide, because that's a requirement. But if you ask me a question about something, which we're going to leave some time, a lot of time at the end, to have a conversation about things that are happening in the career field and why we're doing them and why we're going in that route. And I'm expecting some tough questions from this audience. This is a pretty intimidating and distinguished audience, right? We have a lot of senior leadership in history that sits in this room that, rightly so, judges what we do in the career field every single day, right? And for those of you that are still on social media, God bless you. I will tell you, we get a lot of feedback on social media, and I pay attention to it all. With some of those people that have a lot to say about what we do and why we do it and how we can do it better. And so your commitment to making us better, both you and your families, is important to us and the people in this room. And it's amazing. This is my first opportunity to come down and see this crowd and this audience. And John Sally, who's another one of those I'm going to talk about today, but John Probst and John Sally were kind of the people that I came up under, right? And they gave me a lot of mentoring, tutoring, and revectoring. So if I get this wrong, I'm blaming those two people. So we'll just start there. I know John Sally would have been here if I would have been able to snag him out of retirement. He just got out, so he's even more dangerous right now. Right? Still email me from his AOL account. You have an AOL account? I'm sorry. So that's the modernization piece we're going to talk about today. How to modernize, some of those things. Myself and the chief, we're gonna tag team this. I'm gonna get back on script, chief. Stop shaking. All right. It is definitely an honor and a pleasure to be here this morning to talk with this team about the status of our defender force. First, let me just say once again, thank you for your service and your continued service to our United States Air Force and to our defenders. That's what this crowd is about, is what you do, it's what the association does, and it's why you're so strong in what we do every single day. Thank you also to your families. I got to meet a lot of the family members last night who were just as proud to be here as all of you. And that was absolutely amazing to see them here with you and hear, what you've done since you got out of the service and continue to serve as part of our Air Force. So thank you. I also have to extend a thank you to the association. I got to meet some great people, Lucille and Jerry and a few others last night, talked to us about the association, what it does for our airmen, and how much they want to continue to do for our defenders on a day-to-day basis. And then spend a lot of time, just catching up on what the association has done for our Air Force. So thank you all for that. When deciding on what we're going to talk about today, it was tough. There's a lot of things going on in our career field that I could talk about here today. But like I said, I'm going to try to stay away from some of the big rocks I know my boss is going to talk about. But if you ask me a question, I will definitely answer it. We chose a few of those things that I thought were foundational things that were focused on making us more lethal and more ready. And as you all know, there's nothing happening in the Pentagon on the third floor right now that is not in direct support of our National Defense Strategy that talks about what makes us as an Air Force more lethal and more ready every single day. And if we're not working on those things, we're not funding those other things. So if it's not more lethal, more ready, we're not funding it. Over the last year, we've been focused on the year of the Defender, which is why we're here today. And I will tell you, John Golding asked the career field leadership, what can we do to increase security forces' ability to become more fit, more trained, and more lethal? The answer to this question was complex. I would say it was also invigorating, but more importantly, it has driven positive direction of the career field to be what he feels the pinnacle of security for our Air Force and for our resources and for our people. The Year of Defender has been guided by what you may all know as Reconstitute Defender Initiative. RDI's intent was to aggressively work to establish requirements, update our policy, advocate and program for resources necessary to restore readiness. But in all, what I think was most important about RDI is the words and verbs from our senior leadership when they signed out the letter on what was the intent of what we're doing for the Year of the Defender. And when I talk senior leadership, our then Secretary Wilson, our current Chief, and Chief Master Sergeant Wright. I would like to quote those words. Those who earn and wear the coveted Defender Beret are the sentinels of our force. They must be fit, professional, approachable, and lethal when required. Theirs is a deadly business. We have an Air Force that is equally serious about organizing, training, and equipping them to be the most lethal and deadly force on the planet. End quote. And since that time, I will tell you our chief has dedicated the resources and the requirements to get after this on a day-to-day basis from where I sat in my previous job as AA planning and programming. He was the voice of what we were doing for the Year of the Defender. As a result, we have made progress in moving our career field forward this year. More than we have in the last couple of decades, I would say. When it comes to providing defenders with the capabilities that they require, we are doing that now. The focus has been on 3 lines of efforts: restoring readiness, revitalizing the squadrons, and increasing lethality and closing capability gaps. The Reconstitute Defender Initiative came up with over 900 tasks associated with making us more lethal and more ready every single day. We're currently about 80% complete with all of those tasks. What we owe you in this group is a list of the things that we've accomplished over the last year that gets at RDI and more lethal and more ready. But our chief is going to talk about that when he has you here in a day or so. What I want to talk about, though, are several of the key areas that fall under RDI. The first being training. We have looked at our training at the Security Forces Academy and revamped our courses and our lesson plans. This was done to ensure we were focused on our core tasks that are foundational to what we do every single day. Additionally, we put focus on something that I felt was really important, that was imprinting our culture and our heritage on our airmen early in their career at the Security Forces Academy. I know the association has done some things with our classrooms as well to get that heritage, embedded in our classrooms, and that has been absolutely outstanding. So thanks to the team yet again for another huge push for our defenders. Additionally, I would say we have done a lot of work to ensure that the airmen that we provide out of their first initial course to our wings are better trained than we were when we got to our first installation. So we are providing a better product out of the schoolhouse today for our organizations that are operating the mission on the front lines. That is a huge win.
Thank you, sir. As we move forward, now that we've done the majority of the recruitment to retirement training overhaul, one of the areas that we're going to focus on in the next year is our MWD capability and our training associated with that, as well as our combat arms capability. and getting after our combat arms, and involving both of those programs to be the programs that we need into the future. So for the first time ever, all joint services came together this year, and we all agreed on the same training standard for our handlers, our trainers, and our dogs. So that is the first baseline that we've actually been able to achieve, which is huge. We anticipate that course is going to start. We also separated our training course from our kennel master course. So this way it's 3 distinctive positions, and they have to graduate into each one of those to ensure that we keep them on board to where they're going to be able to mature into those kennel masters that we need. The other thing that we're lifting is the idea that what your techs are, you're no longer a canine handler or a combat arms. What we're encouraging is that we keep that expertise in those veins, and we grow those folks to be subject matter experts, so that as a program in the Air Force, we'll be able to achieve that. With our combat arms brothers and sisters, what we're going to do there is we're focusing more on not just the weapons aspect of it, but the tactics aspect of it. Marrying those two things together and ensuring that when our defenders go out and they're firing, that they're not only firing, but they're firing tactically and appropriately for the enemies that we could face in the future. Thank you, sir.
So I just want to add one thing to what the chief said. In my time in 37 Training Wing as a wing commander there, I asked what I thought was a very simple question, and that was, how are we doing about producing military working dogs, that weapon system, as the executive agent for the Department of Defense, which is what we do every single year. The looks I got back told me we weren't doing very well. So we put a lot of work and a lot of time and a lot of effort into getting that right. And I'm happy to report to you all that from a DoD perspective, we are meeting the trained dog rate for the United States Air Force, but also our sister services that we're responsible to 100+% because of the work that's being done by the squadron here that's ensuring that we restore that capability back to the Department of Defense. This is the first time we've met that rate in quite some time. So just a round of applause for the team here. Secondly, the next thing I want to talk about is we have made huge strides in modernizing our equipment and already have started building that capability to our defenders. This modernization includes things like the new M18 handgun that you may have heard a little bit about, a new rifle with improved optics, a new grenade launcher, and we've also made sure to get those equipment items to our defenders as soon as possible so that they have what they require to support the mission on a day-to-day basis. The boss called this making sure that we are not on equal footing with the enemy, right? We want to have better weapons, better capability than the people that we're facing every single day. Chief?
One of the areas that I think we've made the biggest progress on is at our lower echelons, we have 20% of the Air Force Security Force personnel are female. And as you move up the rank, it gets a little smaller. But we've been wearing body armor that was designed and fitted for the men frame. So the Air Force has taken the lead, and we'll be developing the first ever female body armor that will be designed and fitted specifically for the female form to provide extra protection. It provides extra protection, the appropriate fit, and will eliminate some of the body and injuries that our female defenders are facing for wearing kit that wasn't designed for them. In addition to that, the Air Force will be leading the way, and the Army and the Marine Corps will be taking what we've developed to put to their soldiers and their Marines. Cool.
Thirdly, we have been standardizing our equipment so that our defenders possess the same capabilities for the mission sets that they do no matter where they are, if that's CONUS, if that's forward deployed. From the gear they wear to the equipment they use, this allows them to conduct their home station mission and their deployed mission with the same equipment that they use every day. So there's no spin up, there's no preparation, and there's no worry about having the right equipment for the mission when we put them out the door. One of our more important areas that we're making what I call huge strides in is our human capital investment in our defenders, both our military and our civilian. The team implemented a leader-led training course that bridges what was an existing gap between our NCOs and our airmen. This course provides our NCOs skills to train subordinates on operational tasks But more importantly, it puts the responsibility of training and proficiency of subordinates in the hands of our NCOs to ensure that our defenders remain and are proficient on their day-to-day core tasks. For many years, what I would share with you from the other side of this position, we were producing what I called qualified defenders. Right? We were putting them out of the schoolhouse. They were coming out with the resident skills that we needed to fight the day-to-day mission. What we were not getting were proficient defenders. That was a result of some scheduling. That was the result of maybe some need and improvement in training. That was results of some lack of what I would call the ability with the current schedule we're in to get more repetitions in. So we are now working to get our wings and our organizations into 8-hour shifts. So that we can now have the time required to be proficient at the task that we need. And we've been very successful getting a lot of our units into 8-hour shifts. The long pole in the tent, however, is manpower. And I think you guys probably have heard this throughout your career. I know he knows what I'm talking about for sure. But I would also report that we've been very successful, not just on the nuclear side of the house, gaining more manpower, but throughout the Air Force, we're going to get a huge push this year in the POM that we'll see, our chief's front desk on another 1,200 positions to get after the 2,500 or so that we think we are currently lacking. That is a huge win for us, and we're going after it in the POM. Go. The other piece of this that I really want to get after is for us and our training world. We've transitioned from just-in-time training. We did this for a long time of, we're going to deploy forward, let's do just-in-time training, let's send them to our power projection platforms, and then let's put them out the door to get after the mission, right? In today's environment, what we do right now, there is no sanctuary for when and where we provide security. Our job is the same no matter where we're at. We're protecting personnel, resources, the installation as a whole, no matter if we're forward deployed or if we're local. Right? So the goal after getting rid of this just-in-time training was that we would now focus on ensuring that our troops have the training to do their job at every location with the right skills, the right equipment, and the right capability to get after missions. So there is no more just-in-time training for defenders. We have to be ready today and in the future. The team has also made huge strides in upgrading and empowering our civilian defender workforce. Our civilian defenders are critical to our national security and defense. We can no longer afford the luxury of having single-tool specialists on patrol or standing watch at a gate. We now require multi-skilled and extremely diverse civilian defenders executing our mission with multiple roles and responsibilities to defend our installations. Lastly, I will talk about the technology that we're working to put in the hands of our defenders. Our base defense operations centers is what I believe the foundation of how we fight no matter where we are. All of you have walked into BDOS and seen something completely different every time you've walked in there. Our goal is to try to go after that command and control capability, standardize it so that we have better situational awareness of the environment we're acting in, and the ability to provide wearable technology on the arms of our defenders so that they have better situational awareness and how to respond to a threat with the right forces in the right time with the right capability. That is how we become more lethal and more ready, is by getting rid of the plexiglass and grease boards, and I know a lot of us have done that, but bringing us into the next century with additional capability that improves our situational awareness. And I will tell you today, our airmen today understand technology better than anybody else out there. It's more than just social media to them. It is a way of life. And we need to understand how they communicate and how they take in information. And I think the systems and the technology we're bringing online does exactly that for our airmen. Regardless of the location again, we're working to standardize and bring that technology to the airmen right away. The last piece that I will leave you with is the ability to come from an organized training and equipment perspective and take them to a fully proficient perspective is where we have to go in order to survive in the next fight. So that is our goal. Those are the things that we're going to focus on. And in the boss words, we're going to make our defenders the best ones on the planet, and they're going to be more lethal and more ready when the time comes to get after that particular part of their mission. Under my charge as your top cop, I'm going to continue to focus on some of the things we talked about. We're going to continue to focus on training. We're going to continue to focus on modernization. And we're going to continue to focus on how do we standardize the capabilities we have and make them better. That is where we're going for the career field right now, and I will tell you the success we've had thus far has been huge. We still have a lot of challenges. I look at General Wilcox every time I say that because he's in a prime position to help us advocate and get the right capabilities for our defenders, but not just for our defenders, sir, for our Air Force. And so I will continue to lean on you, sir, as a wingman to get after some of this. More importantly, taking care of ourselves and maintaining a healthy culture and environment that serves to support our defenders in their day-to-day mission. And I do believe one of those things that gets after improving our culture and environment is getting our defenders into a work schedule that affords them the ability to have protected time off, protected training time, and time with their families to recover. Cool? Cool. So I will stop there, and we will open the floor up because I know this group has some questions. A lot of those came out last night, but I just want to thank you all again for your service, your support to our defenders, and your support to our Air Force. Cool. Cool.